Hi everybody and welcome to another sewing tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to make a reusable sandwich wrap, which is a brilliant alternative to cling film. I'm just setting out the pieces of fabric that I'll need according to the instructions that are available in my Etsy shop as a PDF download. I've got some cotton and some food safe PUL squares and some hook and loop tape Velcro and some fabric glue as well. Now the first thing you have to do before you sew it all together is attach the pieces of Velcro to the different pieces of fabric. So I like to do this, it's easiest if you line up your square of fabric across two different lines on your cutting mat so that you have one corner that you can place the Velcro onto. So I have got the loops side of my Velcro, that's the soft side, and I've got my food safe PUL and it's right side up, just adding some dots of fabric glue to attach it along the corner. So that point, that right hand point, 1.5 inches in from the edge of that right hand point, I'm going to place that strip of one side of my Velcro straight across. I like to use fabric glue because I find that the pins can put holes in your PUL, which is not ideal. And I'm doing exactly the same with the cotton fabric. So it's the right side of my cotton fabric, the pattern side. I've placed it along those two different axes on my cutting mat. I'm getting the rough side of my hook and loop tape, putting some fabric glue on the back, and then 1.5 inches from that right hand point, I'm just going to place it down. And then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and sew it, and that's what I've done here. So I like to sew twice around when I'm sewing my pieces of Velcro on, just so that they're really strongly sewn on there. So now we need to sew it together, and to do that we place the different pieces of fabric right sides together. But you have to make sure that the pieces of Velcro are not on top of each other, they have to be at opposite ends. So I'm just placing them together, lining them up together. And then I'm going to clip all the way around. I find I prefer clips for this to pins, especially as I say as the PUL. You don't really want any holes in it anywhere other than the sewing ones. Now you need to leave yourself a turning gap because we've got to turn this the right way around. So that's what I've done there. I've left a decent sized gap. I'll show you later. It's about 4 inches, enough to get your hand in because you'll need to when it comes to turning it the right way around. So that's it there, about 4 inches. And that's just enough to get your hand in. So you sew all the way around except for that gap with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I've done that, and you can see I've got that gap there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the corners. Okay, take care not to cut into your sewing. Clip the corners. That's just so they're much neater when you poke the corners out. Okay, and you'll see there's the turning gap. Just getting my hand in and I'm turning it all right sides out. And this is where it's really useful that you've left enough for your hand to get in so that you can really get in and poke out those corners. Now I've got this cute little tool. It's a little bamboo corner poker. And it's one of my favorite tools because it really gives you a really sharp corner but doesn't poke through the fabric. I've found in the past when I have used slightly blunt knitting needles and blunt ballpoint pens that I have ended up going through the fabric, but with this I never have. So I would really recommend this. I've got a little video on my 5 favourite sewing tools, and that's one of them. Okay, so now we're nearly ready, but what we have to do is we have to sew that turning gap. And to do that, we have to top stitch all the way around. But first of all, in order to get the top stitch nice and neat and your square nice and neat, you need to iron it. So do this on the cotton side only with a medium iron. I tend to put mine on sort of low medium, and you need to iron it all the way around. And especially when you get to that turning gap, you need to iron that, just so that it's nice and neat for you to sew. Apologies, my head gets in the way here because of where my camera is positioned. I'm still working on that. I'm working on that. And then I'm just going to clip that for when I'm sewing. And then I'm just going to sew all the way around about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, closing that turning gap. And there it is, your neat little square. And in order to fold it up, you just fold in one side, the other on top, the bottom with the rough side of the PUL, and then the top with the soft side. And you have your sandwich wrap envelope. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back again soon. Bye.